rode with Grandpa in his big old Chevy. Sometimes we went to the fair. He took me for haircuts, he took me for candy. With him I'd go anywhere. When the soaps would come on, we'd go out on his porch, and he'd talk to me man to man. And he'd tell me the stories a kid needs to hear to become a young baseball fan. Who was Babe Ruth, Grandpa? Who was Lou Gehrig? When will I be big enough to go to a game? Tell me about Feller and Ty Cobb and Johnson and that man Alexander. Now, what was his name? He told tales about games that he'd seen long ago when he took my dad with him too. He told me about pitchers who pitched double headers. Later on I found out that was true. He read Curious George, we played cards and sang songs, but the stories I loved most of all were the ones he would tell when I'd ask him, Grandpa, please tell me more about baseball. Who was Babe Ruth, Grandpa? Who was Lou Gehrig? When will I be big enough to go to a game? Tell me about Ty Cobb and Feller and Johnson and that man Alexander. Now, what was his name? Now Grandpa's gone on, but I wonder what he'd have to say about baseball today. The steroids, the scandals, the millionaire players who are striking to get higher pay. The World Series games don't get started these days till all of the kids are in bed. And the next group of fans that baseball should have, they're all playing Farmville instead. Who was Babe Ruth, Grandpa? Who was Lou Gehrig? When will I be big enough to go to a game? Tell me about Ty Cobb and Feller and Johnson and that man Alexander. Now, what was his name? That man Alexander. Now, what was his name?